Who should you tell about what you're going to do? Well, here's a rule of thumb which I have found to be very effective. I share my go-up goals with only those people I know who are going to support what I'm doing, who are optimistic and who are enthusiastic and who believe in what I'm doing. I share my give-up goals with virtually everyone. Now, what is the difference? A give-up goal is if I'm going to quit drinking, if I'm going to lose that weight, if I'm going to quit cussing, if I'm going to quit beating my wife, if I'm going to, quit doing all of these things. Those are give-up goals. If you've got a give-up goal, then you want to share it with anybody and everybody. If you're going to quit smoking, let other people know about it. Put yourself on the spot. They will be glad to support you. Now, if it's a go-up goal, that's an entirely different thing. So I'm going to make $1 million, and people look at you and say, you are. Or if you come out, and if you say, I'm going to be the number one salesman or the number one sales lady in this entire organization, and you're telling another sales lady that, she's not going to give you a whole lot of encouragement in many cases. Share those go-up goals only with people whom you know are enthusiastically behind you and who will support you in reaching that particular goal. The second thing I would say about reaching the goals, or the third thing really, is you got to make the commitment. Now, I have talked about that a little bit earlier, making the commitment. But let me emphasize another point about commitment. When I was writing this book, in the first chapter, I wrote it on goals. And as I wrote in there, I put down that I weighed 165 pounds. I wrote down that I had a 34-inch waistline. Now, the minute I had that typeset, I actually weighed 202 pounds. I actually had a 41-inch waistline. Now, can you imagine how effective this book would have been if I had in there that I weighed 165 pounds and I come waddling out, at 202 pounds? You know what you would be thinking all the time? You'd be thinking to yourself, I wonder what else that dude lied to me about. Let me tell you one of the basic truisms of life, and the reason I keep getting back to the foundation, you and I are exactly alike in one respect. I catch you lying to me one time about one thing, and from that moment on, I'm going to put a question mark after everything you tell me. And you do me exactly the same way. You catch me lying to you one time about one thing, and you're going to be putting question marks after everything I say. And my effectiveness as an instructor, as a speaker, as a teacher, as an example is totally destroyed because my credibility is gone. When I put in there that I weighed 165 pounds, folks, I want you to know that was a commitment. Because the second part of the commitment was I tried to get this book published. I sent it to 3 major publishers. I just knew they were going to get all excited about publishing my book. I visualized sitting there and listening to the bidding war. This publisher bidding this much, and that one bidding this much, and that one bidding that much. And I was going to sit back and say, now you fellas be nice to each other. I mean, after all, I'll write you another book someday. Oh, I just knew they'd fall all over themselves to publish my book. Can you believe, though, in short order, all 3 publishers sent their book back to me and said, we don't think that thing's going to sell, I couldn't imagine 3 theoretically intelligent people arriving simultaneously at such an asinine decision. It was beyond my imagination. Well, now I got to make a decision. See, do I really believe that book's going to sell, or do I just want somebody else to take all the risk? See, it's one thing if I say, publish my book, and if it sells, pay me the royalties. And if it doesn't sell, gee, I'm sorry about that. I really am. Now you see, I've got to either fish or cut bait, haven't I? I got to make the decision, am I willing to put my money where my mouth was? Well, I knew the book would sell because, you see, I write exactly the same way I speak. Now, I don't write as fast as I talk, so you have a better chance to assimilate, what's there. But, I tell folks I'm like a cross-eyed discus thrower. I don't set any records, but I do keep the crowd alert, I knew that book is going to sell. I decided I was going to publish it myself. Now, a friend of mine said, Zig, if you sell 25,000 copies, you got a bestseller. Well, that appealed to me enormously, so I said, well, why not? 25,000 copies. Well, I don't know if you knew this about books or not, but I can say this to you, that it cost a ton of dough to publish 25,000 copies, because the first copy cost more than the next 24,999 copies, and they cost a ton. I have made a commitment. I put it in print. I weigh 165, have a 34-inch waistline. I have ordered 25,000 books. So step number 3 literally is you got to make that commitment.